Good evening, Mr. Peña. I want to say thank you for coming here tonight, and that I'm visiting here from Baltimore, Maryland. My question for you is, what's the most actionable way for you to build mental strength and fortitude quickly and efficiently without going to the military?
Oh, without going to the military. Okay. Hang around with, when I say tough guys, why is Joe Rogan so popular? And you know I've been on Joe's. Okay. Other than he's this tall. And I'm the only guy in recent years that he didn't stand up and take a picture with. Because he fits under my armpit. Okay? And I love you, Joe. But Joe's programs and programs like that you are who you hang around with. Now, I hung around with guys. I talked my buddies into volunteering for the draft at the height of the Vietnam crisis because I can sell anybody anything. Oh, everybody's dying. We're not going to die. Don't worry about it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. I didn't die, but a lot of them others. You got to hang around with, I don't like to use the word tougher because that's got different meanings to different people. But I mean, accomplished people. People that have done shit, they accomplished what they said they were going to do. Now you can go back, I mean, my TV show that we signed recently took me 6.5 fucking years, but I wouldn't give up. And if it takes me 6.5 years, God, what about the little mealy mouth from Omaha that comes to Hollywood? God almighty, they don't have a fucking chance. Unless they're fucking the guy or something, which a lot of them do. And that's why the girls from Omaha fuck the fucking producers. That's the only way they can get it done. You got to hang around with guys, I mean real guys, that have some nuts. And gals. There are gals. There's a few. Right, Viking bitch? Yeah, my Viking bitch is back there. Okay.
I'm in the process of joining a club that I can't afford, but what's another way that you would suggest?
Well, I mean, you need to find something. You got to get a mentor, a guy or gal that's tough.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Peña.
You're welcome. Yes, young lady.
Hello, I'm Candace Musa from Northern California, and I have kind of a long question. So,
have you always had a squeaky voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm mid-40s. I came to the workforce later in life, maybe like a year ago, so I have a background in nursing. I'm a broker for insurance and MLM, so I have a comfortable life, but I want more, and I always get accused of that. You want too much. So you always...
Well, right away, you got to get rid of those people that are telling you want so much.
Yeah.
Out of your life.
Took care of that, yeah. So you always talk about healthcare. So I have a nursing license, and that would be easier for me, but I am also doing this MLM with the insurance brokerage, which is doing really good. So I just don't know whether I stay.
You only have time for one.
Yeah, I know. Only one
okay.
master. So which one would be more profitable because of my age?
Well, we have people in this room that are multimillionaires from healthcare in a couple of years, and you're not going to be a multimillionaire in MLM. I happen to know a lot about MLM. In 1996, the top 8 or 10 MLM guys on the planet came to me, and I structured a special seminar for them at the castle, and and I learned about downlines and all of the other stuff. And as far as I could tell, since the beginning of MLMs back in the 40s, the only people that got super rich were the guys that founded them. Founded them. They were at the top of the downlines, or all the downlines actually, and they used to switch people back and forth, So I would say healthcare.
And stay in Northern California?
Yeah, Northern California is rich with that stuff. Absolutely. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Peña. My name's Justin Dykes. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. And my question is, if someone has a criminal background, but they want to do a roll-up in healthcare, would that...
yes. If they've done their time, and you got to disclose it. If you don't put it down on the bank documents, you've committed bank fraud, and then you go to the big house. So we have a woman here that can talk about criminal backgrounds. You can also talk about rape, pedophiles, and somebody, right? Because she's had that experience building her board. There's plenty of people out there. Now, that's not to say criminals have started these deals and been successful, but let the criminals build their own deal. You don't have to add criminals to your deal. But if you're the guy that's got a criminal background, you have to disclose it up front, full time. But that's why seller finance. If you sell to the motivated seller, you can be Jack the Ripper. And it doesn't make a shit.
What about the license for?
Well, it depends with the state. It depends. Some of the licenses aren't transferable to people that have criminal backgrounds. State by state.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Peña. I'm Fidelis from LA. My one question is, the QA model works for every industry,
Correct.
but my question specifically restaurants and hospitality. Is it a lucrative enough market in Southern California to still use the QLA model? And what
The
about
problem with
franchising?
restaurants and retail, the margins aren't big enough. The margins are thin. I mean, every street corner, that's an exaggeration, almost every street corner has got 3 restaurants. So how can you differentiate yourself? Now, if you can't be first, you got to be different. So how many Italian restaurants can you have? How many of this? There are, on 1 mile of Piccadilly in London, there's like 7 pizza joints, restaurants. 7. 3 or 4 of the names that you know, and 3 or 4, I mean, how do you differentiate? So I would pick another industry, healthcare. Easy peasy.
How about in agriculture? Because I'm hearing all, about farming and
Correct.
food and source. Would that be maybe just sidestep?
Well, I mean, farming's a tough business. But I mean, you want to buy farms that are not subsiding on government contracts. You want a farmer that does it the old-fashioned way. Gets up at 3:30 in the morning, with his computer and his tractor, and he knows which way the furrow should go. But the government contracts come and go with administrations. For example, Elon Musk, the flavor of the day, right? If it wasn't for the $500 million that Obama gave him for, not SpaceX, but Tesla would be not a fart in the wind. He also gave him $500 or $600 million for SpaceX. So Elon, and he's still a brilliant guy, knows which way the wind blows. And the problem with that, when you get involved in the politics, you have to be ready to jump ship, so to speak, when the next regime comes in.
Understood.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Good. Next.
Mr. Peña, YZ from Shanghai, China. I'm based in Atlanta.
Our son went to the University of Shanghai.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Okay. I'm based in Atlanta. I'm a pretty consistent option trader, and also I use the money I made in the trading to fund my real estate. I got complacent until I watched your video. I feel like I'm making no money comparing to the money you're making. So then I watch all your videos, listen to all your tapes. I find my healthcare. I haven't found my deal yet, but I have a very strong why comparing to the trading business I have. But you told us in the very first of this meeting, you said you're not interested to be our chairman. So basically,
There are a lot of guys. No, there are not a lot of guys like me.
So you've never mentioned that in the YouTube videos. I was not prepared for this. I thought, I can talk about this deal on this seminar this watch. But I'll talk about that, in the Castle seminar. My question is, sorry to interrupt.
You're going to get to the question?
My question is, because we're talking about the healthcare deal in the Castle. My question is, so do you have any successful story in rolling up private hedge fund and in your mentees? Because you've never talked about that in YouTube.
No, because I don't have any.
Because QLA probably
No, that's not. I don't have any. I don't have any. You're not going to get a motivated seller that's going to put up the debt to buy a hedge fund. That you won't live long enough. That's not going to happen. Okay. The most important part of our model is motivated seller. Motivated seller. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Peña. My name is Brian Peterson. I work in the busiest ER in Washington State. I work with a lot of folks dealing with suicidal thoughts, especially teenagers, and of course, working with this, snowflake generation. what can we do on a larger scale to help people with their mindset? I've read Release Your Brakes. It changed my life for sure. What are your thoughts?
You were just, you took the words out of my mouth before I said it. Jim Newman, who wrote Release Your Brakes, was my mentor and a great guy, a great book. And it's actually more germane today than when he wrote it. But the kids lack leadership. And a lot of the leadership programs, and I was just watching TV today, are just shit. I mean, they've got a nice woman, 35 years old, who's got a master's from someplace, who's trying to teach you how to reframe the problem. So it's not a problem. I shook my head and I tuned it up a little, and that's all horseshit. You know, just like global warming is horseshit. What you want is to find people that really will devote the time. I'm one of the few that will devote the time for free. I'm one of the few that gives all my shit away free, okay? Now, if I had to do this over again, I won't be disingenuous. I would no more get into this fucking business than I would shoot myself in the dick. Forget about it. Because, I mean, you kids, I'm not going to beat that horse again, but you need leadership. I had leadership. I didn't realize how important it was at the time. I never told my dad or my mentors, geez, I really appreciate what you've done for me, okay? But more people like me doing it for free is what you need. You know, more people like me that are willing to do it for free. And it's a thankless job. It just is. And you have to have, the person either has to have real deep pockets, which I do, and all day nothing to do and all day to do it in. I mean, they have to have a lot of free time because it's not easy and it's a very much one-on-one. I mean, I'm better in front of groups, but I mean, the one-on-one results, because at some time, all these mentor programs have to come down to one-on-one. Because when it happens to you, it's 100%. You know, Lee Trevino got hit 5 times by lightning. The odds of that 5 times by lightning it's not possible. But Lee won't go out of the house if there's a cloud in the sky now because he's been hit 5 times. You need somebody that's willing to put forth the time. There's a few schools around, a few universities. I've never attended any of the classes, so I can't tell you that are trying to do what I'm suggesting. But you need somebody, like if Elon Musk got behind something like this, he's the flavor of the day. But he just said on CNBC 2 days ago, I would rather stick a fork in my hand than talk about my personal life. Because his personal life's fucked up. I mean, I talk about my personal life because it's part of who I am. My dad hit me with a car. My dad didn't like that example. My family didn't like that example. It made us seem like animals. My father was an animal. You know, that's not bullshit. Okay? So you need people that are willing to come out. Not when in the old days when you came out of the closet, oh, I'm gay. You need people to come out of the closet about their personal lives and willing to share those experiences. And a lot of them are unpleasant. I've talked about shitting myself in that closet so many fucking times now. You know, it doesn't bother me, but I see the looks on your faces. You know, I still remember my aunt dragging me out of school, shit coming down my pant leg. And when I was telling the principal of my school, he's looking at me, I thought he was going to start crying. But I'm numb to it now. But when I sue the LA school district for $82 gazillion, no, I'm not going to do that. But the point is you need people that are willing to talk about their personal experiences, and not everybody. And, you know, Oprah kind of does that, but I don't mean like the Oprah way, and I'm not taking anything away from her. But not many people are willing to share that. And most people want to make a living. They want to make money. They want to build a life for themselves and their families. They don't want to share the experience that, you know, God forbid, their father fucked them in the ass or whatever happened. They don't want to share that. They don't want to share that. So it's a tough, long-winded answer for a tough problem.
I make sure I tell them, you don't pick your parents.
Oh, boy, is that the goddamn truth.
I can see their brain working as soon as I say that.
Yeah,
And I tell
Warren
them
Buffett says that. He has 2 other great sayings. It's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nobody knows that you're interested in winking at a girl in the dark. Another thing he says is you don't pick your parents. But his parents turned out pretty well. But he's kind of screwed up too. Warren's screwed up in a lot of different ways. I'm sure we'll come out after he's gone. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Pena.
Okay, next.